Welcome to the ExecMBA Podcast. I am Brett Twitty, Director of Admissions for the Executive Formats of the Darden MBA, and very excited to be hosting our first ever ExecMBA Podcast. That's right, you are listening to history, the inaugural episode. Not the easiest word to say anytime, really, but on a podcast, certainly. Recording inaugural episode of our ExecMBA Podcast. Wanted to use this episode to give you a little bit of a sense of what we hope to accomplish with the podcast, to introduce you to our class of 2019. They just started school, in fact, just completed their first leadership residency, so their program is well underway. And then lastly, wanted to wrap up with some application tips and information for those of you who are considering joining our class of 2020. So a lot to get accomplished here. So what's the deal with this podcast? Why a podcast? Don't you already have a website and a video blog and a blog and emails and all sorts of other stuff? Yes, all of that is true. Podcast, though, does complete our multimedia empire. In all seriousness, felt like a podcast was a really interesting forum in which to tell stories about our Executive MBA program. We have a lot of great people who make this program what it is, current students, faculty, staff, and wanted really a venue where we could talk to them about their experience and why they do what they do and why they came to Darden and all the things that they love about the Executive MBA program. And hopefully this will give you a deeper sense of who we are and what Darden is all about and what the experience here as a student is like. So stay tuned. More episodes to come. For those of you who are schedule-oriented, hope to have episodes posted about once a week, close to that. So stay tuned. This is the first episode, not the last, hopefully. So what about our class of 2019? Well, our class of 2019 has completed their first leadership residency, as previously noted. In the slang or parlance of the program, that is LR1, just to give you a little bit of a sense of how we talk internally about the program. If you have read any of our website materials or done any research on the program, you likely know that we begin and end our program in Charlottesville. All students, irrespective of location, whether you're a Charlottesville or Roslyn section student, all students come to Charlottesville at the beginning and end of the program for a week-long leadership intensive. The first one is called Leading with an Enterprise Perspective, and our class of 2019 students have just completed that. So who are these people? Well, the class of 2019 in many ways is a historic class here in our Executive MBA program. We have 129 students. That is the largest number of students, highest number of students, not quite sure the appropriate descriptor to use, but the largest class we've ever had in our Executive MBA program. It surpasses our class of 2018, and we're really starting to see the impact of being able to offer two great locations. We are in the Washington, D.C. metro area, in Roslyn specifically, which is in Arlington, right across from the Georgetown neighborhood of D.C., and Charlottesville on the main grounds of the Darden School. So we offer these two great locations. We have two formats, our Executive MBA format and our Global Executive MBA format, what's termed EMBA and GEMBA. And we offer these two locations, two formats, and starting to see the impact of those options in the marketplace. We've talked with a lot of prospective students, seen a real uptick, not only in inquiries and interest, but also in terms of applications. So class of 2019, largest class we've ever had in our Executive MBA program, but also the most selective admissions process we've ever had. So all great things, very excited about the future and very excited about the class that just joined us. So here's some details about them. And there's also a blog post on the Discover Darden blog if you want to read or refer to these later. So be sure to check that out. So 129 students, 63 of them are Charlottesville section students, 66 are Roslyn section students. We have 105 EMBA format students and 24 GEMBA format students. The average years of work experience are 12, but let's be let's be broader than that. We have students with 5 years of work experience and students with 30 plus years of work experience. So while the average is 12, we have a lot more work experience diversity in the classroom. I get that question from students all the time. I have X number of years of work experience. I notice that it's less than your average or it's more than your average. Could Darden be a good fit? And what we tell students is, we start at 5 years of work experience and we go up. And we have a lot of different people at different career points in our program. But, the bulk of our students are somewhere in that 10, 11, 12, 13-year range. But if you're a little bit less than that or a little bit more than that, you can still find a place in our classroom and still find value in the Darden experience. So in terms of other aspects of the class that you might be interested in, 29% of the students are women. 14% of the students are underrepresented minorities. 35% of the students already have a graduate level degree. 14 states are represented. We have citizens from a number of countries, including Australia, Brazil, Fiji, Germany, India, Israel, Italy, Poland, Sierra Leone, Switzerland, United Kingdom, United States, and we have 25 plus industries represented. For those of you who are interested in a little bit of how we think about putting the class together, and I will definitely dive into this a little bit more in subsequent podcast episodes, but we are always thinking about that classroom experience. As you may know, Darden is a case method school. It's a highly interactive, discussion-oriented way to learn. The case method really requires all students to come to class with a perspective, to be willing to contribute, but also to be willing to learn from their peers. So certainly at Darden, students learn from the world-class faculty and teachers that we have, but there is a lot of peer-to-peer learning, what's termed lateral learning. And so we are looking for people with a pretty unique skill set, people who are going to be willing to speak up, but also be willing to listen, and people who are very different than all the other people in the classroom. The case method is really at its richest when you have a lot of different voices and perspectives and backgrounds and experiences in the room. And so that's our general orientation to how we think about a class and how we think about evaluating even an individual candidate. We're always thinking about how that person will fit within the broader whole. We'll definitely talk about this in subsequent episodes, but just wanted to touch on it now because it is that time of year. Yes, our 2018 application cycle has officially opened. Our application is available. So for those of you who are looking to apply this year, you can in fact get started right now on an application. Our first deadline is October 10, followed by a deadline at the end of November, January 10, and then a series of deadlines going until early June or so. As we say, we go until the class fills up. And we have targets for, location, roughly 65 students or so in Roslyn, 65 students or so in Charlottesville. So if you're planning for the year ahead and you think you might apply or you're starting to investigate an executive MBA and contemplating an application, a couple things to keep in mind. Apply as early as you feel like you can put together a competitive application. So if that's October, that's great. If that's January, that's great. As we go, and of course, obviously we offer a number of other deadlines, but as we go later into the in the cycle, we are much more limited in terms of location, format, flexibility. Oftentimes, when we get to May and June, something will have filled up. This past year, Roslyn filled up a little bit more quickly than Charlottesville. So if students applied late in our May or June round, we're much more limited in terms of what we could extend in terms of location. So keep that in mind as you plan for the upcoming cycle. If you are someone for whom location or format flexibility is important, if you really want maximum choice when it comes to whether you're a Charlottesville Roslyn student, EMBA or GEMBA format student, apply as early as you feel you can. And then also keep in mind we have a finite amount of scholarship dollars. Yes, we do have a scholarship budget for our executive formats, and we award scholarships continuously from the first round until the money runs out. Certainly have more money available earlier in the cycle as we go through each round. More of our dollars are accepted by students who we extended an offer to and who've received a scholarship award. So we have less money to award in each subsequent round. So if you're someone for whom a scholarship award would be impactful, consider applying as early as you feel you can. Something to know is all admitted students are considered for a scholarship award, although not all students are awarded a scholarship. In a given incoming class, about a third of the students will receive a scholarship. Scholarship awards here at Darden in our executive formats range from about $10,000 all the way to about $30,000. The average award is $15,000 to $20,000, and the way that works is we have 5 billing dates in the executive format. So the scholarship is, if you're awarded a scholarship, the scholarship is broken into equal increments and applied at each one of those billing dates. So let's imagine you were awarded, say, $20,000. Well, you would have $4,000 applied to your tuition bill at each one of the 5 billing dates. So that's a little bit about scholarship. We'll definitely dive into that process a little bit more later in a subsequent podcast episode, but have been getting a lot of questions about that on our phone calls and office hours. People always want to know how that process works. And so that's a little bit of a glimpse, but definitely more details to come. This is a good time to plug our phone conversations. So if you check on our website, we have a bunch of times available for those of you who want to get a chance to talk to us, ask some questions. We also have office hours. These are in-person meetings. So phone conversation about 30 minutes. An office hour is 45 minutes in person, one-on-one. Encourage you to seek sort of the format that works best with your schedule and your general preference. We love to get to know candidates. One of the best things about recruiting for the executive formats is just how much interaction we get to have with prospective students as they progress through the process, from prospective student to applicant to potentially admitted student, and then even potentially further matriculant. So really get to know the people, and that's something that I would encourage you to do if you're looking at our program or really any program, is take some time, get to know the admissions officers, come for a class visit, come to an event, try to create as many data points as you can for our program or any program you're considering. Really get a feel for the community of people who are affiliated with the program, also a part, enrolled in the program, and all these things matter. At Darden here, you're joining a community, the people that are your class, obviously, but a much broader community that includes our alumni network, 15,000 alumni, 90 plus countries. And so you really want to make sure that Darden is a good fit for you. The only way to do that, as far as I'm aware, is to meet people. And so, a good first step for anybody looking at Darden would be potentially to come to one of our bigger admissions and alumni receptions, schedule a phone conversation, an office hour. All of those things are good first steps, or even a class visit. So, I've gotten a lot of questions from prospective students recently about, hey, when are your class visits going to be posted? And the answer is very soon, probably in the next week or so. So, if you are interested in experiencing the case method firsthand, you want to come see what one of these classes is all about, talk to some of our class of 2019 students. They've just started the program. They're not so far removed from the application process and potentially being in your shoes. Come for a class visit. We'll have September visits, October visits. They should hit the website in the next week or so. So be sure to keep an eye on our visits page. If that sounds of interest to you, hopefully we will see you at one of those. Of course, if you ever have any questions, if you have any suggestions here for the podcast, anything you'd like to know more about, anybody you'd like to hear from, let us know. The easiest way to communicate that is to our general admissions inbox. That's Exec, ExecMBA at darden.virginia.edu. And if anybody asks, you can say you listened to the inaugural podcast for the ExecMBA Podcast. So stay tuned, more episodes to come. Like I said, get to hear from all sorts of people who are affiliated with our Executive MBA program, students, faculty, and staff, admissions tips. What more could you really ask for? And until next time, see you on the podcast.